digas más nada. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? No me digas más nada.
Hello, and welcome to Moments with Adele. I'm Adele, your host, and I'm so thankful that you decided to join us. Today, we're going to be joined by Gwen Bates, who is the director of Fashion Week San Diego. Gwen, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. Super excited to be here.
Thank you. So, Gwen, tell me, who are you?
Well, like you said, I'm the director of Fashion Week San Diego, and we do events all year long. So we're not like other fashion weeks where they set up camp and do an event one week, but we actually do events all year long.
Wow.
So we do not go dark, and we do that because our mission is designer focused. So I myself am actually an accessory designer, and so I just know the struggles that designers have. And so just being in this role, I want to make sure we give them several opportunities for exposure, media, press, that we can. And so a lot of that will come through the form of events that we do, pre-events, post-events, even giving them opportunities to educate the youth or teach workshops. So we just really push upon events. Yes.
So tell me, give me a scenario of what a year in the life of Fashion Week San Diego would look like.
Sure. So just last week, we did our kickoff. So our kickoff meeting is where we get all of our designers for the year. So it usually takes us 2 months to get our designers. And because we do events all year, we start out at the beginning of the year. So in March, we have our big designer meeting. And then the next day, we have an editorial shoot. And so that's actually where we do the actual professional images of our designers. And this year we're so lucky because we have Fashion Photo SD, which is Getty verified. And so that's always an accolade to have those type of members on your team. But then in April, we have an event coming up called our Spring Showcase. And so that is like our glorified press conference. So that's where we have an audience of press, media, influential people around town, some celebrity guests, actually come and see who our designers are for the year. So it's not a full runway show. It's one look by each designer to get the audience really excited for what they're gonna see in the fall for a full collection of those designer looks.
Oh, okay.
And so something really cool that we started last year was called Community Night. And so that night is where we actually bring in some of our sponsors who are more boutique or fashion related, and we give them the opportunity to do a showcase as part of a pre-event.
Oh.
And so last year we actually had entertainment by comedian Jason Stewart. He's huge, love him. He actually starred in over 250 films. So I mean, it was really great that we were able to land him on the Spring Showcase. This year we have Mario Bryant. So he was actually, I don't know if you saw this show, but I can see your voice. So he was actually on that show. He performed with David Foster. So we're excited to have him come out and do like a little opera surprise for our guests. And so after that night, it's like a social mixer too. So we just really try and get like the community engaged in this event.
Okay.
But after that, we go into casting calls. We need models.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and so we're gonna do something a little bit different this year too. We're gonna be working with an academy, USA Modeling Academy, and do like some type of surprise event that I don't want to say just yet because I'm still putting it together in my head.
Yes.
But yeah, we go into our casting calls, and then we also go into our hair and beauty calls. It's great this year. We have professionals. So, you know, we do have students and we work with them because we like the educational aspect of just being a fashion week and giving those opportunities out to beauty schools. But our leads this year are actually professionals. So that's really great. So they're leading with leading their teams with precision and execution for hair and makeup. And then after that, we will actually have our event in New York. So we are bi-coastal. So we have an event called The Art and Beauty Behind Fashion. And so that happens in New York every year. So this event was actually founded in 2012 by Allison Andrews. And so I've been fortunate enough in my reign with Fashion Week San Diego to actually be the boots on the ground in New York now. And so what that is we are actually partnered with the Art Renewal Center. And they are partnered with Sotheby's International in Manhattan. And so what we do is we give our designers artistry from the Art Renewal Center. So they're the largest museum of realism art in the world.
Oh, okay.
And so they have about 12,000 entrants every single year that come through their doors. And so what I do is I narrow it down to just 10 out of 12,000.
Oh, wow.
And so those 10 artists will actually be paired with our designers, and our designers need to create avant-garde looks based off of that artwork. And then we have hair and makeup teams that come in and create the avant-garde hair and makeup. And then we ship all of that over to New York, and whoever can make it with us to bring that West Coast vibe to New York.
Fill in the slots as you get there.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this. There was a portion there, a part where you mentioned, that you had all these individuals who were filling in for your shows, and I was like, okay, how do you keep that going? And you mentioned that now you're transitioning into making calls. So you make calls throughout the year, and so then you're able to move them from coast to coast. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. So we do a call for interns. Hair and makeup will do their calls because we do have our leads.
Yes.
So we kind of give them that responsibility, and it gives them that education and the opportunity to train and market themselves as well.
Yeah.
And then we do a call for our models. And so not everybody will make it out to New York like I'd hope. But we do, last time we did go on foot, we did have all of our models and our hair and makeup team and a couple interns, which was really good for us. It's just when we go over there with a bigger team, it's more costly.
Right.
New York is just
Right.
Astronomical.
Anyway.
But
Anyway.
yeah, but when we get over there, so what we do is a live installation. So if we have our models from the West Coast, let's say they can be out there and be those same models from the west to the east, then what we do is we install them as art inside the museum next to the artwork that night.
Oh.
And so that night it's a very exclusive event. And so I like to call it our bougie event because the art organization will actually staff their own art enthusiasts from the area. And some of those people are actually founders of art schools in New York. Very prestigious people there. And then we come in with the fashion side. And so I'll find maybe it'll be an editor of Vogue or the executive director of WWD. So we want to keep that like a very exclusive industry event. But we would love more San Diego presence there. If I mean, it's just the cost.
But you've got Vogue, that's partnering with you. It sounds like you have quite a few partners, and when you mention Vogue, everybody goes,
well, they're not a partner.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what
I would like them to be.
Yes.
I'll just put that out there.
Well, let's work towards it.
But we definitely put those invites out
Yes.
to them, and we did have a writer from Vogue last time come out to that.
Oh, good.
And WWD, that's who we have pushing it in that direction to get some of those people out there because they're all based in New York. So
WWD. Okay.
yeah, and then the CFDA, which is the Council of Fashion Designers of America.
Yeah.
We'd love to see them there because they're based in New York too.
So how do you proceed to get those sponsors or to bring those people in? How do you do that?
A lot of cold calling.
Okay.
Yeah, it's me. And just picking up the phone.
Yes.
And just sending invites pretty much because it's an industry event. I mean, the one really cool thing I see about Sotheby's is that we were the first event in the doors after pandemic. And so we want to kind of keep it that way.
Yes.
So it's kind of exclusive to us. We're the only fashion week in the building and we want to keep it, that special. And so sometimes it's easier to get people out knowing all those details.
And so you're in the same building as Sotheby's?
We're inside of Sotheby's on 2 floors.
Wow. That's pretty neat.
So it's easy to get people out when they're like,
Yes.
okay, I'll go to Sotheby's. There's art and
Sotheby's,
fashion.
yeah.
Exactly.
And they're a household name, so to speak.
Yes.
Well, high-end
Yes.
household name. So yeah, that's pretty good. Yes, indeed. So Gwen, where do you see Fashion Week San Diego going in the next few years?
Well, there's so many directions. There's so many new initiatives that were launched. One I'm really excited about, well, if I stay on the fashion side of things, what I'd like to see, what I'm putting out there to a lot of our team members now is we're going to be on top of the USS Midway doing a show on the flight deck.
Oh.
So, and we want
Interesting.
fireworks. That needs to happen within the next, I'm going to say 2 years. And I believe it will. I'm meeting the right people.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but I do see it going into more of being a fashion commission because we do so much in our region, and we are actually, a lot of people don't know this, but we have been actually deemed one of the largest fashion weeks on the West Coast, and the longest standing. A lot of people don't know that because they think of San Diego as t-shirts, jeans, flip-flops, which is our normal everyday gear, but we do have that fashion scene in San Diego. But yeah, definitely we do more than that. So another new initiative is the Military to Creatives. And so that is actually transitioning military members out who want to be in the creative fields, because we do have a heavy presence of military. So some of our models are military, our photographers are veterans, you know,
good.
and so that would be just creating like funding for them to fly them out and to pay them for all their time, you know, invested, because they're professionals as well. And so that's just something that I'm actually starting to work on with the USO. Additionally, we just launched a hot steam program 2 years ago. And so that's near and dear to my heart because I do love teenagers.
Yeah.
And so I'm really surprised, I'm surprised at how this went, but I'm excited to make that announcement that we'll be partnering with UCSD. Okay. And the students coming through that program will actually receive university level credit for the class that they take with us.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty interesting.
It is, and we have a curriculum all built out. So
good. So you're building curriculums too.
Building everything.
Hey, how about that? Yes. So Gwen, have you ever secured any kind of designers from TV reality shows like Project Runway and others? Have you ever encountered any of those?
Well, we have encountered it in a different way. So we did have a couple designers. So one designer that we do have this year, who's a top designer, her name's Sierra Mitchell. She actually has designed for RuPaul Drag Race. We have had designers come from our organization in years past who went on to do Project Runway that were very successful. And then we do have models. We do have a model that just went out to New York, I think during COVID actually, and she ended up on Project Runway as a model.
Wow.
So we're base for emerging, established, and celebrity clientele. So we see a lot of all of it.
Mix.
Yeah, and I think with everything opening back up, we're starting to see more designers from all over versus 2020 and 2021. So.
So is that all that you present in a year?
No. So when we do get back from New York, we'll go into our hot steam program.
Hot steam.
So that is our STEM program, essentially. You know, they have the A for Arts, where we actually work with the youth, and we'll do that UCSD this year. And we kind of allow our designers who are sustainable to come in and help with that whole project. And then from there, we'll actually have a pre-event. We don't know what designer it is this year, but they're going to showcase a previous collection on the rooftop of the Ondas in October. So that's always a fun who's who mixer. We'll do like a special cocktail. And we do those to give the designers extra promotion before we get over to the big shows.
Right.
And then after that, we will be partnering with Van Culture in September to actually do an event. So this is not our event, but we will be collaborating with them as part of the fashion event. So they're actually going to do a 2-block event just full of arts everything. And so you can hop on the trolley, hop off, and see shows all night long. And then after that, we go into production for our big show, which is October 7th and 8th. So it'll be 1 day of runways. And so that's where you see all the designer looks, the full collections, and any special entertainment that we have on that day. And then the next day, we actually will do a rooftop trunk show at the Ondas Hotel, which would be really fun. It was really beautiful when we did it last year. And so that gives the opportunity for our sponsors to set up and sell, our designers to sell the looks that they just showed the night before. And then we go into another event, which is our Diversity Designer Showcase. So we do a presentation during the YB&B, which is the Young Black and in Business Gala. So it's a very distinguished crowd, and it happens at Saquon Casino. And so we'll just set up shop there, do it one more time, give the audience another opportunity to look at our top designer and the whole collection. And that usually concludes our year, but we have a couple more shows going on this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder, because, you know, it sounds like these shows are elaborate. How do you handle it? I'm imagining you have a huge team.
So, so for our smaller events, we'll usually have a team of about 25 to 35. When we get over to the fall shows, those teams could be 200 in the back of house,
Wow.
and in the front of house, it could be probably 10.
Wow.
It depends on the venue that we're going to.
Yeah.
But we'll also have a special, I didn't want to leave them out, Topo Chico. So we're doing a whole branded runway show around our beverage brand.
Oh, okay.
And we're pushing sustainability. So we actually have an event called Topo Couture, where our designers actually create couture garments from waste.
Waste products,
Yes,
yes.
and it was phenomenal as a pre-event last year. So now this year we will give them their entire own runway in November inside of the Republic Hotel. Like, we're just gonna take over their whole lobby. So guests are invited to attend. It's a ticketless event. We may do a round of free cocktails, may not, don't know yet. But
Let's think about that one.
yeah. But it does definitely take a team.
Yes.
But a lot of the planning and the coordinating and the partnerships, that's, I have to fine tune all that, and especially the timing too, because you don't want to burn anyone out. And this year is
No.
definitely an ambitious year, so.
Gwen, I think I heard you mention that you were an accessory designer. What accessories do you design?
Yeah, so I started out as an accessory designer. It's actually called GFash. So GFash, yeah, it's a red carpet accessory brand. And I say that because it's very bold. It's all crystal. I love Swarovski crystal. But yeah, so I actually still design. I design more custom though these days. But that brand has actually been featured in French Runway magazine. A lot of people who have attended the Grammys have worn it, presenters at the Emmys.
Wow.
And so I've done like a lot of collaborative work, and that's definitely my baby. So it's my first business.
Well, good for you. Good for you. So where do you see that brand going? Do you plan on taking it anywhere? Where you going to go with it?
Well, it's funny because coming back to COVID, well, I was overseas for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
So coming back to COVID, and when I was overseas, I wasn't able to operate that business legally on military soil in Italy. So I had to find back doors.
Yes.
So coming back and getting into COVID, being the director of Fashion Week San Diego, so it kind of took a back seat. But it came back last year as a sponsor of Fashion Week San Diego and part of our accessory wall. And so the way I see it going now is I want to go into manufacturing. So long gone are, doing a lot of custom work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, that sounds exciting.
It is.
So if anyone wants to find you, where can we find you?
I'm on LinkedIn as Gwendolyn Bates.
Okay.
Gwendolyn Bates _GFash.
Okay.
But then I'm also on Instagram as Gwendolyn_Bates_ and Fashion Week SD on all platforms. So that's Instagram, LinkedIn, we're Fashion Week SD.
Gwen, thank you for joining me today. You have enlightened my world. My goodness, you're like a whirlwind. You go from this coast to that coast, to this event, to that event. You're on runways and what have you, and you've got people who are designers coming in to work with you. My goodness, what haven't you done? But, regardless of all of that, thank you. You have enlightened me, and I appreciate you coming to join us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate being here and being able to share a little bit of my story.
Thank you again.